And so when this building we're in right now is a performing arts building, arguably one of the top performing arts building in Southern California. It's called the Carnegie Hall of the West Coast. And it was built by a cult leader, Herbert Armstrong, the Plain Truth magazine. Ambassador Auditorium was built with sparing no expense. He wanted it to be like Solomon's temple. When he built it, he literally overlaid the ceiling of the hallways, the stairways, and different section of the building with 24-karat gold leaf. The whole wall of this building is pure onyx, which is a gemstone. In fact, the largest quantity of onyx in the Western Hemisphere is in this building. It's not in some mine, it's in this building. And it's just so opulent. The chandelier alone is worth $1 million. And so when the Worldwide Church of God, and this is probably the greatest miracle I've seen in Pasadena, became born again, they became evangelical. And they were a cult before. They didn't believe in the deity of Christ. They didn't believe in the Trinity. And they repented. And in fact, they came to one of our pastors' gathering called Love LA. In front of 800 pastors said, we were a cult. We didn't believe in the deity of Christ. We didn't believe in the Trinity. We didn't believe in salvation by grace through faith. We believe salvation by works. We have repented. We believe that Jesus is God. We believe in the Trinity. We believe that salvation is by grace alone. Will you receive us into fellowship? And we said, absolutely. And now they're part of the National Association of Evangelical Churches. But one of the things that they also repented of, they used to believe in triple tithe. If you were part of their church, you had to give 30%. And so when they repented of that and stopped that, they ran out of money. So they had to sell their whole campus. And so now the leader of the movement became a good friend because he was praying with us, Joseph Tkach. So he contacts me right after the call ends in 2003. This is now December of 2003. And he said, are you interested in buying our auditorium? And he said, I'll give it to you at a good price. And I said, what are we talking about? He said, it's valued at $28 million, but because we're friends, I'll give it to you at $12 million. But here's the condition. You have to sign a legal document, a non-disclosure document that you cannot tell your church members the location, the building you're buying, or the price you're buying it at. Because if you can't come up with the money, I don't want that to leak out, and I don't want anyone to use that as leverage and say, well, you offered H-Rock Church this amount, we want it for this amount. And so you have to sign this legal document. And I said, yes, I'll do it. So I went into his office, signed this legal document, non-disclosure document, and I couldn't tell our people. And here's the deal. They wanted $1 million security deposit January of 2005, and then we had to come up with the rest of the down payment, which was another $3.5 million. We're talking about $4.5 million by May 14th. And if we didn't come up with the the $4.5 million, we would lose a security deposit. So what do you do in a situation like that? Because you're talking about church money, risking $1 million you could lose. But again, when you hear the voice of the Holy Spirit and you know God's speaking, it was just like this, yes. Yes, Lord, I'll step out. I've seen you. It's like, okay, it's like David. He killed the lion, the bear. You've had this amazing journey of seeing the call, being financed supernaturally, this massive gathering. And not only that call, but then we did 6 stadium events. Some of the top stadiums. We went to Flushing Meadows, New York. We couldn't even rent out Shea Stadium. There were so many people there, around 95,000, 100,000 in New York. But still, that cost us like $1.5 million just to set up, you won't believe what the porta potties cost. Just to have the number of porta potties just for this event. They're $40 a piece, I know. I mean, it's cheaper than some hotels. I mean, more expensive than some hotels. It's just crazy. But you have to have 2 ambulances. You have to have all the security for an event like that. It's just crazy to pay 3 different police departments. So it just adds up. And yet every one of those calls, we went in the black. At the end of the day, God was so faithful. So when you had those victories, now we have this building that we're faced. And in the natural, it's crazy to risk $1 million. But I said yes. And our pastor said yes. I mean, there was just this collective yes. But can you imagine? So I was allowed to share with our pastors, but that was it. I couldn't share with the congregation. But can you imagine raising money this way? Just say, folks, God's given us a building. I can't tell you the location of it. I can't show you a video picture of it. I can't show you a model of it. But I need $1 million by the end of this month. It's now January as a security deposit. And I need another 3.5 by May 14th. That is the craziest way to raise money for a building. See, we jumped in the river and we said, however the river carries us, whatever this looks like, the Holy Spirit is given to those who obey him. And sure enough, $1 million came in that month. It was just amazing because we had spent so much money on the call. We didn't have any savings. And yet the $1 million came in. And that was a security deposit. And then after another a number of months, the Sunday before the money was due in May 14th, we still had $1.3 million to go. And pastors were all nervous and they were just saying, how are we going to get this money? All I knew prophetically, and this is where the voice of God is so clear, I knew we had it, even though I didn't see it. I kept on saying, my mantra was, it's a done deal. We have it. It's a done deal. So we had 1.3 that we need in cash to wire. I mean, it had to be in escrow in 4 days. It couldn't be promissory notes. It couldn't be pledges. It had to be cash, 1.3 million. So that Sunday, I get before my congregation. I said, I want to just thank you. You're the most amazing church. I love you guys so much. And I said, there's no church like this that's given so sacrificially. People were selling their cars. Students that going to Fuller were giving up their tuition for 1 year, giving their tuition money. They were, refinancing, bringing the money. I didn't ask them to do any of that. But they had given so graciously, and we had raised over $3 million. So I said, I want to thank you for your sacrificial giving. But we need another 1.3 million by this Thursday. So we're going to receive another offering. This is after receiving your first offering because, you still have operations. We had 40 people on staff. You still have things that you have to do. And so I said, we're going to receive another offering. It was amazing because another 80,000 came in, which is amazing because we're on fumes now. And so, but we still had to raise 1.2 million. And so we counted the money real quick. They gave me the tabulation. And so, now we had 1.28, and we still needed another, we needed a million and 1.2 million. And so I get a phone call around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And it's a friend of mine, and he was just saying, he said, how much came in this morning's offering? I said, $80,000. He said, that's absolutely amazing. So I've been watching you, Che, and just observing how you've done this with integrity and no manipulation, and how you raised the money, and it's just been amazing. And I just want you to know that God spoke to me in the very beginning in January that I was just to allow you to go as far as you can, but at the end of the day, whatever was the balance, whatever that be, I was to take care of the balance. Come on, give the Lord a hand. In other words, if the balance was 2 million or 3 million, he would have taken care of it. And I had mixed emotions. I said, why didn't you tell me this earlier? It could alleviate a lot of pressure and anxiety from our staff and all that if we knew we had someone, a guarantor, someone to back us, But see, God is after faith. He is after faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. Hebrews 11, verse 6. Now, I share this because it's not just about the building, it's about advancing the kingdom. The moment we got this building, the phone started to ring off the hook. All these symphonies wanted to use it. Pasadena Symphony, California Philharmonic, LA Chamber Orchestra, some of the top symphonies wanted to rent. And we said, what do we do? I mean, we want to serve our city. We want to reach the community. But our attorney said, if you start charging money, you're a nonprofit organization and you could jeopardize your nonprofit status. But the Lord gave me a word of wisdom as I was talking to our attorney. I said, what if it's an outreach? What if it's a ministry? What if I get up before each concert and I share the gospel with people who would never come to a church building? And could I do it that way? And it's up clear in the contract. He said, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. How many know the Holy Spirit's brilliant? How many know Isaiah 11:2 said he wants to give you the spirit of wisdom and understanding, knowledge, and counsel, the spirit of power in the fear of the Lord. And so we put it in the contract before every event that we would share the gospel. And to this day, we have had not one person refuse that contract. And it's been amazing because I remember the first group that rented was Pasadena Symphony. And I had to rent a tuxedo because it was that kind of crowd, you know? They're all in tux, you know? And I don't even wear a jacket or a tie at my service on Sunday. It's just jeans, you know? But for this event, I had to rent a tux. And by the way, I ended up buying a tux because I had to rent it so often because we're having so many events. So finally, I went and bought one. It was cheaper. And it's just really just, you know, it's not heavy. It's not in your face type of gospel presentation. We just say, welcome to Ambassador Auditorium, the new home of H-Rock Church. It's a privilege that we could open this place and serve our city. But it's based on the words of Jesus when he said, I came not to be served, but to serve and to give my life as a ransom for many. And that's what Jesus did. He died for you and for me. I experienced that grace. In 1973, I was a drug addict, and he changed my life. And what a privilege now to pastor a great church like this. Welcome to Ambassador Auditorium. Enjoy the concert. That's it. Less than 5 minutes, I presented the gospel in a way. It just planted seed. It's through servant evangelism, see? And it's amazing. They all applaud. Every time I shared, they've applauded. Or whoever now, because I'm traveling so much, whoever represented me, they applaud. But since then, it's been amazing. We've had movie companies like DreamWorks, and I don't know if you ever saw the movie Dream Girls with Beyonce. That was shot in our auditorium. They had to, you know, redo the stage to make it retro look like the 50s. But it was amazing to have the privilege of sharing the gospel with Academy Award-winning crew, to share the gospel with Beyonce, to prophesy over her, by the way. We're reaching people that we could never reach. They're coming to us. Here's the thing that's crazy. They're coming to us and they're paying us to preach the gospel to them. So when you obey the Holy Spirit, you jump in the river begins to take you to places. And we have seen some of the most amazing people, not only some of the people from the orchestra join our church, but we have had the opportunity to lead. I had the privilege of leading a virtuoso violinist, a Orthodox Jew from Vienna, and I gave him a prophetic word which led for me to share the gospel and how Yeshua is his Messiah, and he ended up becoming a follower of Yeshua. He was there for a special concert.